It looks like I'm naked. I'm not. I'm not naked. I have clothes on. I promise. Hi. How are you today? Are you ready to hang? You better be. I told you guys in my last video where I showed you my go-to routine for long wearing glass skin in this damn heat, that I wanted to also do a glass skin routine video for you guys to show you how I match my base to my tan when I bother to self-tan. I don't know if you can even really see the difference in tone here between me now and me in my last video, or even just between this area, this area of me. Because the self-tanner I use is quite subtle. I'm going to tell you what I use to self-tan, just so you have a frame of reference. If you want to try it out, you can. I like it because it is very subtle, but buildable. That's kind of exactly my jam when it comes to self-tanners. So yeah, that's what today's video is. I'm basically going to be recreating this vibe with slightly different products. And yeah, that's what's happening today. So first and foremost, just so you guys know, the self-tanner I used is the Soul Body Gradual Sunless Tanning Lotion. This literally just goes on like any body lotion, but it's hydrating, but it's not super like rich and dense like a body butter. It just kind of sets really nicely right into the skin, doesn't leave any weird, greasy, sticky residue or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about transfer as long as you give this like a minute to dry down after you apply it. You can just kind of go about your business and it won't transfer onto clothes or furniture or anything. And your skin will just feel like literal silk. It's so nice. Also, no weird smell, no bad smell. Some self-tanners really be smelling like ass. This smells coconutty and delicious. I like this a lot. Highly recommend. You could use this as your daily body lotion if you wanted to really build up like a serious tan. I applied a layer of it last night before I went to sleep, so I did have some color development overnight, and then I applied another layer of it this morning right when I got up. So I have like 2 back-to-back applications on, so you can kind of get a sense of what we're working with here. That's not normally how I apply it. If anything, I apply this like a couple times a week, like almost like an every other day or every 2-day situation, just to kind of even out my tone. It's not really my goal to be like super tan. I just kind of want to be able to walk outside and not have the sun reflect off of me and blind people. I did recently get the gradual tanning face lotion that they make as well to test out. I didn't try it out before doing this video because the whole point of this video is to show you how I normally match my base to my tan, and so it just seemed like a bad idea to try a new tanning product on my face before filming this. So I will have to test that out off camera and update you guys later on what I think about it, either here or over on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it'll be linked down below. Go check it out. We have fun over there. Also, all of the links to everything this is really aggressive. All the links to everything I have going on the internet are down below if you care about that, as well as all kinds of other fun, important, super cool stuff. I always link down there for you guys, so be sure to check out the description box before you leave today. And all that being said, let's get right into this base. So all of my skin prep is applied already, save for SPF and makeup primer, which we are going to do now, and we're going to condense it to 1 step by using the Supergoop Glow Screen. This is an SPF 40 chemical sunscreen. I think all the sunscreens I use are chemical sunscreens, so if that's not your jam, this isn't going to be for you. I'm sorry. But this guy is a sunscreen that I reserve specifically for days when I am tan, whether I'm wearing makeup or not, because it does have a slight kind of sun-kissed tint to it and a kind of nice, pearlescent, kind of warm sheen as well. I am going to shake this up because last time I used it to prime my skin, it did pill on me, and I thought, oh, maybe mine's getting old. But we're going to get into later why that actually, I don't think is the case. I don't think the formula is turned. I think it just needed to be shaken up because of the pigments and stuff in here. Or maybe I didn't give my skin prep enough time to sink into the skin before I went in with this. I'm like convinced it was a user error and not actually the product's fault. I'm going to take a pretty generous amount of it. essentially, I do the 2-finger application rule every time I apply sunscreen, so I'm basically going to apply that much. Because I'm not messing with the sun, and the sun is not messing with me. Take it down the neck and onto the collarbones. Oh, I just got the strap of my tank top. These straps aren't supposed to be like this, by the way. They're supposed to be like a 2-strap thing, but they keep falling down anyway because they're too long, so I just left it like that. I think it's cute. So yeah, it just kind of has a very subtle tint. Again, subtle but buildable. And if you were going like makeup free on any given day and you just wanted this to be your situation, that would totally work. I do that all the time. See, I have pilling. Maybe I'm applying too much. It's sunscreen though. Like, you have to apply enough sunscreen is the thing. Whatever. This isn't the last time we're seeing the Supergoop sunscreen. I'm gonna pull it out again for another purpose as well. And it worked fine for that last time, so I'm gonna assume it's fine now. I'm gonna go see if I can do something about this nonsense. Be right back. Okay, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It was not as bad as it was last time. Last time, there was so much pilling all over my face. This time it was really just more around the hairline area on my temples. That area is just a bitch no matter what. And then just kind of around like the perimeters of like my jaw and down here around where I applied it. And it was very minimal, so I think shaking it up did help. Thankfully, there wasn't as much to fix this time as there was last time I used it, so. And I know that it's not going to fuck with my base now that I've cleaned up the little crumbles. So we're good. We're good to go now. I just applied a little baby bit of color corrector around my eye area. It's not really a necessary step, it's just something I always do, and that's why I did it, but I didn't feel like it was necessary to show on camera, so there's that. Now we're gonna go in with our foundation. I'm using the same foundation that I used in my last video, which is the NYX Born to Glow. Just been my favorite for a long time. I explained all the reasons. I've actually talked about this foundation a few times. Oh, I don't need it right now. I'll take it, I'll take it. Oh no, I fucked up my backdrop. Oh no. Is it fine? It's fine. It's not fine. My sweet, perfect, wonderful baby brother, favorite person in the world, just brought me a slice of cheesecake. He was going to like a little bakery by our house that we love to pick up desserts for everybody. Now I have cheesecake to munch on. What a pleasant surprise. Hell yeah. This video is just taking all kinds of turns. Anyway, I'm using the NYX Born to Glow again. I'm using a different shade. In my last video, I used Light Porcelain, which is more of like a cool neutral situation, like my go-to natural foundation shade. This is the shade Fair. It's a bit more of a yellow undertone, a bit more warm tone, so it works well for matching. I really need to fix the backdrop. I'm sorry. Hang on. It's gonna bug me. Anyway, it's a more yellow tone foundation, so it suits the tanning situation better than the other shade would. And I am going to mix it with, guess what? More of the Supergoop Glow Screen. I'm basically going to mix equal parts together, and that's going to serve as my base today. You don't have to go the tinted sunscreen route like I am. It's just what's easier for me. There are a lot of tanning mediums on the market at this point. I like having the added benefit of like extra SPF mixed into my base though, so that's why I'm doing it. Because again, we're not messing with the sun. I'm going to shake it up again. Last time when I did this, I got the pilling when I applied it as a primer, but then when I mixed it into my foundation, it was fine. There was no disruption, no breaking up, no weird shit. My base looked perfect. So I'm assuming it's going to be fine anyway. Oop. Again, I'm doing my trick where I mist my makeup sponge with a little mattifying setting spray, because this is a very glowy base we're working with. It's a glowy sunscreen mixed into a glowy foundation, and having the matte spray in the sponge kind of helps to like set it as you blend it, essentially. I need a mirror. Little Fenty Compact to the rescue. My filming setup is so chaotic. One of these days I need to update some shit. Mixing them together with the butt of my sponge. That bit will never die. It's kind of more the shade that we wound up with. And I'm just applying my foundation the same way that I normally would. It's still a little light, but it's going to sheer out a lot as I blend it, because that's typically how I apply it. That's one of the things I love about this foundation, is how adaptable it is. You know, you can really customize your coverage depending on how you apply it as you kind of get used to working with it. But it's also just going to kind of meld into the glow screen that we already laid down to prime the skin and just kind of adjust to the right tone. I genuinely don't know how much you can tell the difference on camera between tan me and not tan me. Maybe I'll put up a picture of me without the tan for reference. See, I love that finish. If you have a really oily skin type, for reference, and I mentioned this in my last video as well, but if you weren't here, here you go. I do have combo oily skin, actually. So if your skin type is any more oily than mine, you probably won't like this routine. You'll probably want to find a different kind of medium to mix into your foundation if you're trying to match a tan. I know also some people will have like different foundation shades in their collection for like when they're tan versus when they're not. I'm like, I don't have the time to go and try to match to another foundation shade. I'd really rather just work with what I have on hand already. And I found a couple of different ways actually to do this that work for me. This is just the way that I've been enjoying the most because I like that hyper glowy look. So I actually was surprised the first time I tested this out by how well the glow screen mixed into the NYX foundation. I was like very pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, here's my jam. This is just gonna be the thing from now on. And I'm also just really liking, this is just one layer, and I think I'm gonna leave it at this because I'm really enjoying the way that this looks. Yay. Now I am going to powder my face, and again, I'm using the same powder foundation I used to set my face in the last video, and it is the same shade as well. I use the shade Creamy Natural as a setting powder, because when I set my face I use such a sheer amount of powder no matter what. It doesn't matter to me really if the shade matches perfectly because it's just not really gonna pick up. And I'm gonna powder my face the same way I did in my last video as well, which is I kind of focus it on the oilier parts of my face and work it out to the perimeters of my face from there. Now, if you've been here for my last video, or literally any video where I've ever done my base on camera for you guys, you're probably wondering, Jax, why didn't you apply your cream contour that you always do? You didn't put on cream blush. You didn't apply any cream products before you set your face. And that's because I am doing my base a little differently than normal today. Because I didn't want to hop on here and basically be like, I'm doing the same tutorial I did for you guys in my last video, it's just now I'm tan. I'm kind of taking the opportunity to show you as many different ways that I do my base as possible, because I also mentioned in my last video that I do my base in a lot of different ways. So today we are actually strictly working with powders for our bronzer, blush, and highlight. Also, again, kind of with the same principle as why I used the mattifying setting spray to dampen my makeup sponge earlier, going over top of our super glowy base with as many powder products as possible, just kind of, you know, layered very lightly and all that, is going to go a long way toward the longevity of this base as well. You can mimic this effect, you can do this routine with all cream products if you wanted to, and then just set the hell out of your face with a ton of powder if you wanted to. You can take the methods that I'm using and apply them in whatever way you want to according to your skin type and just how you like to do your makeup. This is just how I did this, essentially. And I really like the way my makeup looked that day, so that's what I'm recreating for you today. Am I going to use the finishing powders? I didn't do that when I did this look. I didn't use any glowy finishing powder because I knew my highlight situation was going to be really intense. You know what? We're going to skip finishing powder today. Who am I? I forgot that I didn't use it last time when I did that. Because, again, this base is so glowy. It's really it's unnecessary for today, I think. Anyway, now we're going to bronze up the skin. I'm going to use my beloved Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Inda Sun. It's like a nice, more cool tone bronzer, so it's going to sculpt and bronze at the same time. And I am actually going to use a contouring brush for this step, actually, to kind of keep it more central to the areas that I want it instead of just kind of buffed out all over, because we're kind of bronzed all over, so I don't want to be too heavy-handed and like all over the place with the bronzer. I almost kind of want to use this more as a contour powder, but obviously it's going to give us a little bit of warmth no matter what. Again, these are just little adjustments that I make when I'm tan all over versus when I'm in my natural pale state and want that sun-kissed look. Like there's little tweaks that I make. If you were here for the last video and you saw kind of how I contoured my face with the cream contour stick, which is also a Fenty product that I really love, I'm basically doing the same principle. It's just now I'm working with a powder instead. I don't know why I still bother with like contouring my nose, but it's happening. Here it is. I literally just go right under here, and I really kind of buff it into where the nose kind of connects to the inner portion of my crease to accentuate that shadow, because I really like the way that that looks. So that's why. And it kind of helps to tie our eyes into our base. Kind of like when I applied my blush onto the outer corner of my eye in the last video that I did. Same principle, just kind of the inverse, if that makes sense. I do need a little bit under my jaw just to make sure everything is cohesive. And I'm gonna blend that into the hollows of my throat. And again, I'm looking real up close here and I'm not noticing, like as I'm pretty vigorously blending powder over top now, I'm not noticing any disruption or pilling or breaking up. Even in the areas where I'm pretty predisposed to that, it usually happens up here because I have a lot of baby hairs through my temple area. And I'm not seeing anything getting weird, so I'd say this is pretty successful. I did fairly recently lose my mind a little bit, and in a fit of grief, I did buy myself some products from Becca. R.I.P. It's like, for a long time I was in denial in a weird, it's like my brain is just now catching up with how sad it actually is that we're losing Becca in September, like officially, that, for a long time it was like, yeah, I understood it was happening. I was like, okay, Becca's going out of business, that's sad. And then more and more recently I've kind of gone like, but why? It is sad, actually. I'm sad. I didn't think I would be as sad about it as I am now. And they really did complexion like no other. I mean, there are a ton of beautiful highlighters and whatever on the market, and base products and stuff on the market now. But no one's gonna do it quite like Becca did. So I am sad to see them go. So in honor of Becca, we are using one of their blushes and one of their highlighters today. For blush, I'm using the, what is this called? Mineral blush in the shade Flower Child. It is so pretty, and obviously kind of along the lines of the blush color I've just been very into lately. I'm gonna apply a pretty generous amount of that, because why not? Yes. And again, I am gonna kind of connect it right here. Just barely hitting my chin, kind of taking it across the forehead, just like I did in the last video, for a naturally sun-kissed look, so that the whole base ties together, even kind of tapping it along my throat for a naturally flushed appearance, which I don't think I did in the last video, but it's something I usually do when I do my makeup, so there you go. Now, obviously, we are glowy as hell. You could stop right here and be fine. I could stop right here and be fine. I actually really love the way that this looks, but I am feeling a little highlight today. I'm using the Becca highlight in the shade Moonstone. I got the special, like, I don't know if you can see, the Year of the Rat engraved one. Moonstone is a shade that I really like for me. And it was heavily discounted because it's in like the special edition packaging and it's the Year of the Rat, so it's obviously from last year, the year that shall not be named. Guess who was born in the Year of the Rat? Me. This chick. 1996, baby. The last day of 1996. But whatever. Anyway, that's the highlight I'm wearing today. Before I get into it though, I think I need more cheesecake. Yes. This is actually my first time dipping into this guy. I have like a mini of Moonstone that I've used a few times, and that's how I know I like the shade, but I'm gonna feel kind of bad about messing up this engraving. It's so pretty. I'm not gonna go highlight crazy. I just want a little something. You almost can't help it with these though. I just want a little something something. So I'm really spinning that out, buffing it over the highest point of my cheek first, and then I'm kind of curving it toward the top of my ear. I get up here, and then kind of curving it down. Instead of doing like the typical C shape and bringing it in here, I'm pointing it down, like almost toward the corner of my mouth. I went over this when I applied liquid highlight in my last video, but I just want to touch on it here. I'm really hugging the outer portion of my under eye circle because I really like the way that that looks when I apply highlighter in that way. And it is like the perfect kind of golden tone for fair skin because when I look at you straight on, there's not like a stripe or a weird looking mark on my face because the highlight tone actually just flatters my skin tone. And then when I turn my head, boom, there it is. That's what you're looking for in a highlight. I'm really loading the highlight onto there, and then kind of taking whatever's left down the center of my nose, and then kind of spinning it out over the nostrils, because again, I'm thinking about how light naturally hits me. It's not always going to be the most flattering look, but I find that it works. And I'm working with such little product that I'm not really worried about texture being accentuated. It's more like you're applying a little bit of glow to distract from the texture because of how the light reflects off of it, versus like if I were putting a lot of highlighter on my nose, it would be like pore central. So that's why I just kind of took what was left over from my Cupid's bow and took it up here. And whatever is clinging to the brush after that, I'm not redipping into the pan. I'm just kind of barely hitting my chin. My chin tends to get kind of greasy, so not a lot of highlight is going there, and I'm straight up not highlighting my forehead. I told you guys in the last video, forehead highlight is canceled for me, personally. I don't know why I kept trying it. And that is where our base is at. I'm gonna hop off camera, probably eat the rest of this cheesecake. I'm gonna do my eye look. I might come back to show you guys how I do setting spray because I skipped that in the last video because I've explained it before, but I might show you in this video just so everyone's on the same page. And yeah, I'm just gonna get finished up here. Hi, I inadvertently lied to you. It wasn't intentional. What happened was I did film the setting spray trick thing for you guys, but my microphone wasn't on, so I filmed that bit and then also the outro to this video with no audio. I didn't realize it until I was done filming, so I'm back now, finished look. Basically, the way that I do the setting spray thing is I curl my lashes a little bit after I have my eyeshadow all done, and then I use, one second, the same mattifying setting spray that I used to dampen my sponge earlier, focus that on the center of the face, where I have the most oil production. And then on the perimeters of my face, like the sides here, where I have the most glow happening, I really want to amp that up. So I use a more hydrating setting spray around the perimeters of my face, and whatever kind of floats to the center is what happens. I'm not too finicky about it. So I have combination skin, so I use a combination of setting sprays. That's the thing. I went over it in the last video, just touching on it again here. Sometimes the misters are a little aggressive, so if they leave spurt marks in my base, which they didn't today, which is great, I'll blend those out with my sponge and everything will be fine. Then I curl my lashes again one last time before I apply mascara. My hair is really doing a thing today. I don't know what that's about, but... Also, I finished my cheesecake and now I'm sad. There's no more cheesecake. Anyway, this is the look. What do we think? Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I enjoyed. I had a lot of fun filming this today, actually. I really have been liking doing these, like, skin-focused, summery videos. You know? It's very fun for me. So I hope that you guys like them too. Again, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to give this video a like and hit the subscribe button before you go. Neither are mandatory, but both are highly appreciated. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day and that your summer is fantastic so far and that it continues to be. You guys be good to others, be kind to yourselves, and I will see you back here for the next one. Bye. Shit. Fuck. Oh, I dropped my eyelash curler on the ground. That sucks. My backdrop looks like shit. Anyway, hang on. I'm having a moment of paranoia. I'm like waiting for the day that this mic stops working. I don't know why. I'm like absolutely convinced it's happening sooner or later here. What is happening? Oh, it's my mom. Hello? I personally am trying to make up for missing out on last hot girl summer by being extra hot this year, so wish me luck with that.